Hello, good afternoon, or good morning, or good night, wherever you are in this world. Welcome to week 7 in the American Football National Football League, and we are Bengals UK, and this is our online tailgate. We do this every week, so you're more than welcome. Bit of fun and frivolity before each game, and goodness me, don't we need it at the moment. Joining me today is Jamie Rowe. We'll come to that shirt a bit later. And Andrew Dockerell. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hello, who day?
How are we?
Oh, it could be worse, I suppose. Could be a Giants fan.
Could be, or a Jets fan, maybe.
Yeah.
How are you today, Andrew?
You started it off so positively, Jamie. I love it. It can't get any worse, can it? No. I'm okay. I'm getting through.
You're getting through. That's good to know. Jamie, would you care to? Well, it doesn't really need explaining, I suppose. But when did you customise your shirt?
It's been a long running craft project of about 25 minutes earlier today, swearing at some safety pins. But it's an interesting way to have spent half an hour of a Sunday. I'm just here reminding everyone what Zach Taylor's career record is.
Are you going to update this forever? How long are you
Well,
going
that's right.
Well, I'd have to buy another jersey when he loses another game. I could. If we do manage to pull out a win today, I could bring this in next week. But I think it's kind of time limited.
This could end up being quite an expensive craft pastime for you, Jamie. You'll have to buy. Who's number 19? Is it all
the 10? Yeah.
It could end up the 8 off.
Yeah, it could end up like the Browns quarterback jersey.
Yeah. Well, today, as I say, we're previewing the game. We've got lots of silly food stuff, as long-time watchers will know and expect. We've got Moz, our resident beer expert, coming up. We've got Adam, what do you call him, our betting tipster, coming up. But first, we've got to speak about the elephant in the room, really. Carlos Dunlap. This is what he is active today, Carlos, which is, I don't know, a bit of a surprise after all his shenanigans last week. This is what Ian Rappaport has to say. The Bengals have had active trade talks surrounding Carlos Dunlap, sources say, who has publicly and privately been frustrated with his role. There is a chance he's inactive today, with a potential trade looming. Both sides, it appears, would welcome a new beginning. He's not kidding, Ian. Meanwhile, Geno Atkins and AJ Green seem to be at peace with where they are, and neither are likely to be traded. For Atkins, he's battling through a shoulder injury that may require surgery at some point, making a trade a virtual impossibility. What are your... Jamie's back again. What are your thoughts on that quote, Andrew?
It's a little depressing. It's the best defensive players of the last 5 to 10 years that are now, do I want to say, acting like spoiled children? Geno, I'm not sure on. Geno, I don't know if
I think
the injury is the key bit. Carlos is frustrating. Carlos is that close to the franchise sack record. I think he's the highest pass breakup for any defensive lineman ever since they've started recording that stat. So he has the kind of statistical point that if he continued that for 4 or 5 years, he could have been Hall of Fame talk. And he's just kind of spitting out the dummy in the nastiest way. It is a shame. I guess there's an argument for both sides. Has Zach and co gone about it the right way? And equally, clearly, Carlos hasn't gone about it the right way. So Yeah, it's just not a nice situation, is it? It's not. It's something you want to cut and get rid of as soon as possible.
Yeah, I agree, and it's just a great shame, really, isn't it? Because as you say, he's been such a terrific player for us over the past decade, and certainly, if you were to name an all Bengals team, I think Carlos would probably be in there, and also Gino as well. So it's always a shame when players' careers come to an end in your favourite team, and there's a lot of people out there with Carlos jerseys, and he's been a real fan favourite. But yeah, he's not acted fantastically this week, has he? Jamie, what are your thoughts on the whole Carlos thing?
Well, I mean, the first thing we should do is sit here for 20 minutes or so and just eat a giant bag of crisps and see how that kind of plays it out. I get it, Carlos, man, I get it. You don't like Zach. I don't like Zach either. You're unhappy that you're not getting the playing time that you think you deserve after all these years of service to the team. I get that. I get that you're 2 sacks away from the franchise record on that front. I get that. This isn't the right way of going about it, and it's kind of swinging the benefit of the doubt against what you're trying to do.
Yeah, wouldn't it be incredible if today was perhaps his last game in Tiger stripes? And that's something I don't think anybody predicted at the start of this season. Maybe we thought AJ was going to be on his way, perhaps, but not Carlos Dunlap. Certainly after the end to the season that he kind of played last year, he was brilliant for the past 5 or 6 games. But now it looks as though the relationship has broken down completely. But wouldn't it be hilarious if he got 2 sacks today to get that record, and then he's on his bike next week? You know, because it could happen next week. Because I think the trade deadline is November the 3rd, isn't it?
The weird thing is, what are you going to offer in a trade, like a 5th, 6th rounder, and then what are you turning that into in the draft? A kicker, a punter? Like, how many starters come from the 5th and 6th round? It's depressing that you take a 5th, 6th rounder, or you just force it through for the end of the season. But I just don't think there's a real positive outcome without resolving the situation.
So do you think it's wiser to cut him than trade him? Obviously depending on the value and what.
I was going to say, if someone gives you a pick, you take the pick, whether it's a 7th or a 5th. Like, if you take a pick, you'll take a pick over a cut. But I just don't see much. Like, if you're a GM in another team, do you want a guy who's posting all over Instagram that he's unhappy where he is on the depth chart?
Yeah.
Is that something you want to bring into a team? And he's a former Walter Payton nominee for the Bengals for Man of the Year. So he does have the right personality, but he's just not showing it at the minute. It's very bizarre.
And that's the thing that has really perplexed me. Who the hell is advising in this, these past 2 weeks? Because surely doing all these things on, as Jamie said, eating crisps on Instagram Live, which is something that I think we should all try. That's not going to endear him to potential future teams, is it? Really,
the Instagram Live was the most bizarre thing. There was no notes to make out of it. Nothing seemed to happen apart from saying that bullying was bad, and then he goes on, sticks another dagger in Zach and team afterwards.
I felt extremely
Bobby Hart in the comments. That was the.
Did you feel cheated, Jamie? Did you feel cheated?
Yeah. I felt extremely sort of spoken to when he was talking about sort of not going on Twitter and criticising Zach Taylor and Bobby Hart, because that's all I've been doing for 6 months. So I felt a bit seen. I felt a bit attacked, and maybe there is a broader point about how athletes are treated online, and sort of people sort of directing abuse towards them, which isn't acceptable. But yeah, it was a waste of everyone's time, and I think basically he was going to come out, try and spill the tea, and then somebody's had a word in his ear and said, actually, no, you need to tone it down a bit and make it a bit more kind of palatable. I do note that Dunlap's agent is Drew Rosenhaus, who has a long record of having players maneuver and engineer moves away from teams, and I wonder if this is sort of the latest.
I mean, there's absolutely no doubt that he's trying to engineer a move away from the team. I mean, it almost seems too obvious to say that's what he's doing, but I do question his methods. We've got some messages coming through. Hey up, guys, says Mozza. Hello, Mars. We'll hear from you later. Duncan Yeadon says, "Who day, gents?" Ken Buzzard, hello from Indiana in the US. Who day, and a who day to you, Ken. Stuart Rowe, whoever that might be, he says a big who day to everyone. Kevin Angel, who day, everyone. Stuart Slaughterbeard, yay boy, who day, and Sean Ebbs, who day from Middlesbrough. Stuart, get yourself on here. We want to see you with clothes on, preferably.
Yeah, it's how much of him we want to see.
We do have some inactives today, and now I've just lost it on Twitter. So speak among yourselves.
Is one of them Austin
Cypher?
Cypher?
That again.
I'm betting John Ross. John Ross.
Yeah.
It's almost not worth mentioning him at the moment, is it? Because he's inactive every week, really. John Ross. Sorry, yeah, go on.
I mean, I don't get it with John Ross. I think at this point, I mean, there's another that we probably need to be trading, but I'm not sure what market exists for him. I mean, there's plenty of wide receiver needy teams out there. It's just that he hasn't really shown the consistency that would attract any of them to him. He played one snap last week, and that was a running down. And it's just you feel that again, that's more talent being wasted. But it's very hard to kind of not fall into a bit of despondency with his team at the moment because of the amount of kind of potential that's on paper, and then what translates itself onto the field. I mean, I've got nothing against sort of Mike Thomas coming in as a receiver, but I'd rather see John Ross doing those kind of jet sweeps and the inside routes that they're running with him.
Yeah, just to go through those inactive, you were entirely correct in assuming that Austin Seibert is out. John Ross inactive, along with Will Jackson, Joe Mixon, of course, both of those.
Oh, God, I forgot that.
Keaton Sutherland, and I guess semi-surprisingly, Sethan Carter, who's been such a special teams ace. I think PFF rated him the best special teams player in the league up to this point. And I'm guessing that they're going with P. Ryan, and Travion Williams gets to see some game day action today, just as insurance for Gio. But it's all about Gio today, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm happy he's out there. I kind of enjoy him in the scheme more than I enjoy Mixon, because I think Mixon's a bit too patient a runner for what we're trying to do. Bernard kind of throws himself at the line and will throw himself into plays more than Mixon does, and perhaps against better defenses, that is kind of what we're after.
Well, we have a special guest, someone knocking on our door, and it's direct from Cincinnati. It's Bengals captain himself, Jeremy Connolly. Here he is. Jeremy, how you doing, man?
You know what? I'm doing better because I actually remembered my earbud, and you guys don't have to see the earwax.
I'm slightly disappointed that we don't get an internal examination today, to be honest with you. How's it going over there? What's the weather like today? What are game conditions like in PBS?
Well, you know what? You can see a little overcast, little chilly, but perfect football weather.
Mm. And we understand that 96 is active today. Has he been out practicing? Have you seen him?
I have not seen him yet. Yeah, but we actually we had a little delay getting in to the stadium, and so we just basically got to the seat. But we'll be on the lookout for him.
Of course, well, you mentioned that. Is that because of the increase in fans today? Of course, 12,000 fans are allowed into the stadium, which is a bit of an increase from the last time. I believe 6,000 were allowed in. Have you noticed the difference in kind of numbers? I guess it's still fairly early, but what we know.
It's still early. I'll kind of give you a little tour of what's behind me here. We don't have too many people here yet, but we're expecting more. And they had a few additional procedures, I guess, when we got in. Jess will she'll have Advil and stuff in her bag. So they actually tagged it. They put a little green tag around stating that they checked and she's got medication in there. I was like, okay, well, nice little touch, little quick visual check, but that was really the only delay there. But we'll be looking at the field there. If anything happens behind me, let me know. But yeah, I expect Carlos to be out there warming up and Travion too. So today I'm actually wearing 2 jerseys. You know, I figure regardless of what's going on, I'm going to appreciate Carlos for 10 years, at least 10 years. You know, what happens from here, it happens from here. But I've had a good time watching him. But I'm also wearing, over top of that, giving Travion a little bit of love for his first game time, hopefully.
Yeah, Duncan Yeadon said, I hope Jeremy is wearing his number 96 jersey. So you've answered that question. It's kind of exciting for, well, there you go.
There he goes.
You know, I know it's not the same as wearing it, but you know what? It was a struggle. Absolutely. I can separate the man from maybe what's going on right now. You know, I'm not inside the locker room. I don't know everything, but I definitely appreciate what he's done for the community, what he's done, how he's been with fans, and the 10 years. So, you know, Carlos Dunlap, we're behind you there. You know, everything else, that's a different story. But I absolutely had Travion is just. You know, he's great with fans. He's a blast to talk to. And I am so excited for him because, you know, a lot of guys that are later round picks, a lot of them don't get a chance. Now he's got a chance to prove himself. So there's got to be some energy. I've seen probably 10 or 12 32 jerseys today.
That's amazing, isn't it? So people are really excited to see him in action, I guess.
Absolutely.
Jeremy, do you know what you were doing this time last year?
What was I doing this time last year? Was this London?
It was London, yeah, it was. We were standing side by side at a certain public house in North London that shall not be mentioned. And it didn't time fly. And, of course, today is Jess's birthday. Where is the birthday girl?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but she's in the bathroom.
Well, you know.
Well, good luck to her.
Better out than in, that's what I would say. So, yeah, well, that's a shame. We were going to sing happy birthday to her, but actually, Jeremy, go to the bathroom and stick that stuff over the door.
That could be one of the most epic free games because then you see me escorted out, you know.
Yeah.
Just hand the selfie stick to one of the officers escorting me out for rushing into the women's restroom. Yeah.
Guys, have you got any questions for Jeremy? Because I guess we've got to let him go in a minute.
Yeah, it does look like it's sort of up to 10 on the Ohio scale. Is there any wind out there today, or is it all just kind of grey cloudiness?
It's just really grey cloudiness. You know, the rain passed. I think if we're going to have any rain, it's going to be closer to 5 o'clock, although I did see maybe around noon here in about 10 minutes. Hopefully not. But for the game, it should be completely good for the game. And I'm not feeling any wind. So, hey, we'll take any advantage we can get, though, because defense is beat up. We got a few too many injuries on defense. Make me a little nervous. But, hey, next man up, right?
That's it.
Dockers, anything to ask Jeremy before we let him go?
No, I'm just loving the face mask. He's no emotion change. You can't tell if he's sad or happy. He's just there.
You know, it's rough because the hot breath and then the cold air. My nose is running, so I can only imagine how ugly this is going to be. I mean, this is already ugly, but it's just going to be dripping. And I apologize ahead of time.
Well, the great thing about that mask is when you move your mouth, the mask moves in unison, so it doesn't actually look as though you're talking. It's amazing. Exactly.
I need to get a little rubber on the inside here because it slips a lot. You know, I always thought I had a huge nose, but apparently it's not big enough to keep this mask up. But yeah, I noticed the same thing too. If I get it right, just perfect.
Yeah,
it looks like it's hard.
It is.
It's really creepy. I love it.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Jeremy, thank you so much as ever, and do wish Jess a very happy birthday. Let's hope the team delivers a birthday present for her today.
Absolutely. Love you guys, and hoo-day.
We'll speak to you later, mate. Cheers. Bye now.
You have to ask, sort of, if in a few weeks we haven't won any more games, whether a paper bag counts as a face covering.
Well, that's it. I'm not sure whether that is comparable with NHS guidelines. I'm not sure. Maybe there should be some new rules. We've got another person knocking on the door. Let's say hello to Mike Smith. Mike, hello.
Hey.
How are you?
How you doing?
All right. How are you, mate?
All right, Mikey.
Good. We excited? We apprehensive? We mixture of the two?
I think Docker's facial expression there said it all, really. Sort of a little bit apprehensive, really. I don't know. What about you? How are you feeling about today?
No mix and no joy, I'm afraid. I think taking away such a key element of the offense, you're basically putting it all on a rookie, putting it all on Joe today. Given that we have an offensive line which is, paper thin at its strongest, I think it's either the defense really shows up today, keeps us in the game until late, or it's going to be a tough day at the office. But if it is a tough day at the office, it's one where we'll learn from the many mistakes that we'll make, and it'll probably go towards the wishes and dreams of Jamie's hashtag.
Well, I'm actually more nervous about the absence of William Jackson today. What about you, Dockers?
It's a mix of the disparity on the defense. They rushed all over us before DJ Reader was out, so now that's going to be even worse. And then their passing attack has really improved. So with William Jackson out as well, that's going to be a struggle. Burrow threw for 60 times in the last game. So no Mixon now. It's going to be a tough one.
I'm okay with Gio starting. I'm down with that because I think we're all Gio fans, aren't we? It'd be good to see him start, and it'd be interesting to see if Trayvon Williams gets some carries. I hope he does. Be great to see what he got, because we've got literally no film on Trayvon Williams in a Bengals shirt, so it'd be good to see. Dave Smythe says, "Who day straight from Cincinnati? Who day?
Oh, who day straight back to him."
Mozza says, "I think Gio has looked good this year, even in games where Joe has struggled. Gio has made plays." And Neil Liam Solomon says, "Gonna get smashed by the Browns."
Loving the optimism. I am loving the optimism there.
Brilliant. Cheers, Neil. You come back anytime. Mike, stick around because we're going to go to our beer video now. So here's Moz, our resident beer expert, giving us a couple more beers to try.
Hello, Bengals Nation. Moz here with 2 new beers for you guys to try. Just finished listening to Stoke. Jesus Christ, that was so nerve-wracking at the end. It was so unnecessary because we played really well. And yeah, I've got a beer by the side because I need it because it's just bloody stress. But we won, so I'll take that. I do recommend that beer, but it's from a talk machine, from a draft machine, so I can't really recommend it. Good Austrian lager. But the first beer I recommend, I've actually got the bottle right here. It's a Belgian triple from Westmalle. If you're familiar with Belgian triples, this is, there's not a lot of differentiate between a lot of them. Basically, you can get light fruitiness and a lot of yeast character and clove and stuff like that. But that is probably one of the best examples you will get. Really readily available. It'd be in all good bottle shops up and down the country for certain. Price, you're talking roughly about £4.50 to £6 from the UK, but if you go direct to Belgium, these certain websites I wouldn't trust because I still haven't got my beers from August from one place, but life story over. But yeah, it's a fantastic example, but don't confuse it with the Westmalle Double, which is in Tesco. Good beer, really good beer. I do recommend that if you want to try it, but completely different beers, different styles, completely different colours, completely different. But yeah, get yourself one of them. It's 9.5%, and make sure you get the yeast at the bottom. Give it a good swill and chuck it in your glass, because that's proper Belgian. The second beer is from New Bristol Brewing. I affectionately call it Space Monkey, because on their label it's about the story of a gorilla who went missing from Bristol Zoo. They really didn't, even years later, I think some students would clean out a flat so they can move in. And in the corner, there's this massive gorilla in taxidermied in a space costume. So, I call it Space Monkey. And the beer I recommend is the Cinder Toffee Stout. It's only 4%. And sadly at the minute, they have sold out, but do bear with me. They do brew it really regularly because it's probably their most popular beer they do. And literally, it's a Cinder Toffee Stout, so it is literally a crunchy liquidized. If you like crunchies, you're going to love it. I think it's £3 a can when they do sell, but they haven't sold out. But yeah, it's 4%, so it's not the thickest or anything like that, but it's a lovely beer. It's sessionable stout if you like dark beers, but you don't want to have a big, thick, chunky one, which I love. That's a really good example of a straightforward stout, really, with the pastry stout style. Them are two beers I recommend. Hopefully the Bengals get a win. I'm pretty sure we'll just find another way to lose spectacularly again. I'm still kind of not... Well, I kind of expected, to be honest with you, when we went 21-0. But, it's the life of a Bengal. And with that, have a great Sunday and a hoo day.
Oh, hoo day.
I do love Mosby's beer reports because he manages to fit in lots of like little life stories, existential crises, all sorts of things, along with two beers. Jamie, I saw you nodding enthusiastically when he was talking about the Space Monkey.
Oh yeah, that sounds incredible. Kind of honeycomb crunchy beer. I'm in for that. I love Westmalle Triple. I love Westmalle Double for that matter as well. But he is right; they are completely different beers. It's not an all the time beer because it is serious stuff, and if you're not very careful, it'll end your night. But it's very delicious.
What percentage are we talking, Jamie?
Say?
What percentage are we talking?
It's upwards of 9. I can't remember how far upwards of 9 it is, but it's certainly upwards of 9.
Mike, did any of those beers take your fancy? What's your tipple on a game day?
Well, funny. On a game day, I'm stone cold sober these days. Just having a little one running around. But when she's not, I've actually been following Mozz's guide, and I've got quite into the old collaborations these days. Had a good one, new one last night called Ponder, which is a collab between Thornbridge and Walker. That was about 6.7% West Coast IPA. You get that in Morrison's as well. And that was that was quite crisp and fresh, and hints of like the old guava and exotic fruit. That was a really good one. But yeah, most of the time I'm bog standard Elvis Juice punk IPA really. Really whatever. Just whatever's on offer really these days. Don't really get. I think when the little one grows up a little bit more, get back into the back into the ales and such. I think it should be a bit of a wider question really to the audience. With given how the team performs, how strong does your ale get? I mean, does it get stronger as we get better? Does it get stronger as we get worse?
Mine stays. Mine stays at roughly the same level, but it's just that I have more and more of it as it goes on until eventually I can't feel anything, which is probably the best way to be.
Ken Buzzard says, if it's brown, flush it down.
Solid advice in many ways.
Exactly, in every way. I hope Jess is heeding that advice as well. Dave Smith again. Baker Mayfield is overrated and he will fold today. We will take the win this week. And Peter Daswell, who day? Big game today. Opportunity for the team to show some character and whether they're behind the coaching staff. Well, we'll see about that. But Mike, we're going to say farewell. Thank you very much for joining us, mate. Always a pleasure, and see you soon.
It's all gravy.
All right. It is all gravy.
It's all gravy. Now, this was bound to pop up, and I'm pleased we've got Andrew on.
I feel like that's been planted.
Yeah, I think Mike segued beautifully into this. As regular viewers will know, as I mentioned earlier, we do like to kind of talk about food because this is a tailgate. And what do you do at tailgates? You eat and you drink. And in lieu of actually doing that, we talk about food and drink just to torment ourselves because we're masochists. So in the group chat last week, there was a talk about gravy. And Andrew, do you want to explain this? Did you come out? I sort of missed all this, but you came out and said you didn't like gravy.
I came out as a gravy disliker. I thought I'd be appreciated and respected, but no, straight abuse.
You thought you were going to get some sort of support because you made a big decision.
Exactly. I thought Bengals UK was a group about equality and acceptance, but apparently not when it comes to gravy. I understand why people like gravy. Meat juice is nice, but I don't like being time limited with my food and texture. If I have a nice crispy roast potato, I don't want that being soggy within a minute.
I see. Right. Jamie, you're very much in the pro gravy camp.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like Dockers has got his tactics wrong more than anything. You can kind of set your own time limit by having it in a gravy boat or some other gravy decanter, and deploying the gravy only at the time that you're ready to do so. Now, I like chips and gravy, and I like it when the gravy soaks into the chips. But I do get his point that a roast potato, it needs to have a certain crisp to it. So that's when you come in with your gravy boat. At the very last minute, and only then do you attack with it.
Now, I should mention for our US viewers that our gravy and your gravy is a little bit different gravy.
Yeah, ours is nice.
Now, obviously, they're both made with kind of the juices from the meat, but obviously in the US, it's kind of got this very light, creamy color and texture. Over here, it's brown. And depending on how you like it, it can be thick or kind of, what's the opposite of thick? Thin, that's the word.
Watery.
Watery. But they're kind of based around the same sort of concepts, really. But I think most people I would say around 98% of people in the UK like gravy. But Andrew is one of those 2%, and we've got to embrace that. There is no kind of. in the Bengals UK code, there is no gravy, official line on gravy. So you're free to like what you want.
I appreciate that acceptance.
That's all right. That's all right. We might have to amend the the rules as we go forward. Okay, Kevin Andrews said your disdain for gravy is not okay. Well, I won't read that comment, Kevin, because it may offend some people. David Millerman, hi everyone. Bengals 37-27 today. No lentil and chickpea curry today.
He's won.
This week.
Unless he's lost.
David, did you win or lose that argument? Did the curry go down well last week? And what are you having today? I hope you and Tracy can agree on an acceptable Sunday lunch. Maybe
I hope it's got gravy on it.
Maybe it has got gravy on it. Peter Dadswell has made an apple and blackberry crumble this afternoon, the filthy sod. Tom McDowell is team gravy. Kevin says, Jamie, you are wasting your time. Dockers is a lost cause. Slightly unfair. Brian Exford, Bengals will be different gravy today. I like that, Brian. Who day me ducks from Chesterfield in Derbyshire. Who day to you, Brian? Duncan, I had coq au vin for Sunday dinner today. Duncan, wow, that's quite an effort. Now let's talk more about food. We spoke about booze earlier, and Moz gave us a very tasty sounding honeycomb flavored crunchy beer, but this was launched last week, and it's the first ever 0% alcohol Guinness. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, if it works, quite a lot of people want to drive to places to go out with friends and socialise. Obviously, it's a bit difficult if you're in some of the higher tier areas at the moment. And if you're the driver, or if you're wanting to get home with a clear head, or if you've got other reasons for avoiding drink, it might be a nice place to start.
Indeed. Andrew?
I'm very against all of this unnecessary processing. It's like vegan bacon and fat-free yogurt. These are products designed to have those components in. That's why they're good. Why remove the goodness from the component? And then equally, I think 0.0 is probably a bit of an exaggeration. Any sort of fermentation, and you've got some alcohol. It's like miso soup is about 1% alcohol. So
that's a fair point. This has very definitely got some alcohol in, but it actually, I don't know, it's a seasonal drink from Bailey's, and it's an apple pie flavoured Bailey's.
Oh no, that's just going to end in tears.
Tears and vomit, no doubt, at some point.
I wonder if, I follow someone on YouTube who has one of the ice cream machines you get in an ice cream van, and I wonder if you'd be able to put that through an ice cream machine.
Well, you can make Bailey's ice cream, can't you? And Bailey's cheesecakes as well. Bailey's cheesecake is incredible, I must say.
Red Bull in ice cream is actually really nice.
Red Bull in ice cream?
Yeah.
Say that again.
Yeah, Red Bull ice cream.
What ice cream made
from Red Bull?
So I'm going a bit garlic bread here, but Red Bull
and cream in an ice cream mixer.
Really?
Beautiful.
I can see that. I
was prepared to defend you over the gravy, but not Red Bull.
Sugary boost for the afternoon. It's
okay.
Very good.
All right, a sugary boost for the afternoon. Tom McDowell is chowing down on this for the game. He's got some, what's that? Hobgoblin Ruby beer and some jalapeno cheese.
Oh, that's decent.
Which is very good. Maybe, Tom, you should do an Instagram live with your jalapeno Max Strong crisps.
4.5% for Tom is about alcohol free as it gets. It's normally 80%.
I know, right? Well, what else have we got? We've got more comments coming in. I find if they don't sell it in Ireland, there'll be uproar with the Guinness. Whatever name 3 says he or she is making pumpkin pie bites this afternoon, which sounds intriguing. 'Tis the season for anything pumpkin pie and kind of autumn spice. Kevin again says, I find Guinness has zero alcoholic taste, so take the alcohol out for all I get. Kev, you're in belligerent mood this afternoon, I must say. No messing with you. Duncan Newton says, doesn't like gravy but has Red Bull ice cream. WTF. And Tom says, Dockers doesn't like to have a time limit on his food, yet likes ice cream.
It's the combining of food textures. One texture is okay. I love that this has got more interaction than the state of the team this week.
We should have you on every week, Dockers. What you should do, we should release a food that you don't like every week and get people to comment on it. We've got some more silly food things. So, obviously things are kind of all about face coverings at the moment. The brand Hormel has launched a bacon-smelling mask. So,
oh no!
So basically, whatever you smell in that mask is going to smell of bacon, unless you're Jeremy, of course, who expunges all kind of things out of his mouth and nostril. Well, is that something? I mean, you're both bacon lovers, right? But is that?
Yeah, that's a step too far.
Is that a rasher too far? Yeah,
I think be a bit hungry all the time.
I know.
I mean, if you have facial hair, if you're capable of growing facial hair, it's just going to stay on it. It's just going to sort of stay there until you wash your face. And
I'd be worried that you'd just be followed around all day by animals, basically.
Yeah.
Other products that has launched this week. Your lot, Andrew, has released.
Oh no!
Has launched Pigs in Blankets flavor mayonnaise, just in time for Christmas. Now, again, for our US viewers, Pigs in Blankets are these. They are mini sausages, or chipolatas, as we call them over here, wrapped in bacon, and they're a firm favorite on the Christmas dinner table. And Sainsbury's has launched, one of our supermarkets over here has launched a Pigs in Blankets flavored mayo. Yeah, not sure about that one.
I should probably hold it for another week, but I don't like mayo either.
Oh no!
Don't shoot your wad all in one go. Leave it.
Do you like anything?
Keep your powder dry, Andrew. We'll talk about mayonnaise next week. Right. Morrison's have launched a ghost pepper pizza, which apparently is hotter than the core of the earth. Where do you stand on hot food? Can something be too hot? Because when I like taste and flavour, and if something is too hot, then that prohibits me from tasting the food itself. I don't mind a bit of spice. I don't mind telling you. But where do you stand on hot food?
I used to be very, very wussy with it. I used to be very conservative in terms of going out for spicy food. And then about sort of 2 or 3 years ago, I just started sort of pressing the boat out a bit and pressing the boat out a bit further. And then over the summer, I had my first ever Vindaloo. And obviously, a ghost chili pepper pizza, I think, is going to be quite a bit hotter than that. But, I'd try some of it, and I'd give some of it a go. We'll see where we are. Now, I get your point about heat versus flavour. Some things manage to do it quite well. Some things manage to have quite a nice little bit of taste in with the hotness. But yeah, so I don't like things that just go for the hotness over anything else.
I'm a lot better with fresh chili heat than powder heat. I think you can easily go too far with your chili powder, but with some fresh chili, I can take that quite nice. I'm a jalfrezi guy.
Well, there we go. That neatly segues into the fact that we spoke about it on the tailgate a few weeks ago. We are going to have a chili cook-off on this tailgate in the very near future, and I can exclusively reveal that Gold Star Chili are going to be helping us out with that chili cook-off. I still have no idea what form it's going to take or how it's going to work. So we'll be talking about that offline. But there will be a chili kickoff. The chili cook-off will kick off at some stage, and we'll be trying to figure out how we're going to do it. But I guess we're going to need about 4 people who are into cooking to contribute and participate. So if you want to participate, do put your hand up, and in the meantime, we'll try and figure out a way how we can do this, and Gold Star will be involved. That's exciting, isn't it, Jamie?
It is. I prefer Skyline out of the two, but bless them for getting involved.
The official chili of the Cincinnati Bengals being thrown some Skyline shade there from Jamie. Right, we've got few new things. This fella in Scotland has been battering and deep frying pickled onions in his fish and chip shop. Now, Scotland.
Oh no!
Scotland, obviously, he looks a very friendly guy, and Scotland has a reputation for just battering and deep frying everything from chocolate bars to pizzas to burgers to all sorts of things. Jamie's laughing. Andrew looks disgusted. I could see that actually working, because that would kind of be a bit like an onion ring, but an onion ball, really, or an onion, a whole mini onion.
Well, I mean, an onion bhaji fries up quite well. So, I mean, fried onions obviously are a good thing. But yeah, I'm not feeling it.
It's just a lot of vinegar to bite into.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm not sure. I wouldn't eat. I mean, the next step would obviously would be to deep batter and deep fry a pickled egg, wouldn't it? Really, let's face it. And I am hoping to get Nathan on this tailgate at some point to try a pickled egg, because I've never heard anyone so disgusted, like genuinely disgusted, on the podcast when. Because he didn't know that unbelievably, he didn't know that pickled eggs even existed. So when he heard of the concept of the pickled egg, I did think he was going to throw up, to be honest with you. But right, our final food item of the week is this: Mrs. Brown's Boys has launched its own food range, and that's all I've got to say about that, really. Anything that you would dig into there, Jamie?
No. No. I mean, obviously, fans of the show, the 2 or 3 people that are might enjoy that. But I mean, what chicken fajita crowns? So they're all kind of crowny things.
Yeah, they're pastry based by the looks of it. Ham and cheese, fajita, and that's it. So
it's all very Iceland.
It's all very Iceland, isn't it? Okay, we've reached that time of the show, if you want to call it a show. To talk about the predictions today. So drop a prediction in the comments box on whatever social platform you're watching this on. We want to know what you think the score will be, who's going to score. Are we going to win today? Is there any chance that we're going to win today? While you're doing that, let's watch our old friend Adam, who's got some betting tips for us.
Good afternoon, Bengals fans. I am not looking forward to this one. I think this could be a pretty painful afternoon for us. It's the first repeat game we've had all season after losing 35-30 in the first game against them on Thursday Night Football. Joe Burrow threw for a remarkable 61 attempts in that game. We converted 5 fourth down attempts in that game as we were chasing it from pretty much the start. We were overrun from the start. Good news is they haven't got Nick Chubb for this one, so should be able to slow down the running game a little bit. However, we are missing our main running back. Joe Mixon obviously is out. But the bigger loss for us, for me personally, I think is William Jackson. He did a decent enough job in that first game, and I think he's still probably our best cornerback on the season. With him going out, that's a fairly big loss. And then we seem to be capitulating in the locker room as well. Don't know what they're doing with Dunlap and with Gino, but Dunlap has now posted lineup stuff on his social media, which is going to annoy everyone. It probably means he's going to be suspended. I say suspended, left out of this game. It's not a good look. The Browns are a little bit beaten up. They're 3-point favourites coming into this one, 50.5 point total. If you think that we're going to do all right, then Gio is 5-4 to score. You've got Tyler Boyd 2-1, T Higgins 15-8. I think he's probably the value on this one. He looks like he's going to be our main man going forward. AJ Green 12-5. The running back spot obviously is up for grabs, really. Gio 5-4, as I said, he's going to be the main man. But you got Samaje Perine is 7-2. I think he'll probably get the goal line carries, and Travion Williams at 15-2 to score at any time in this one. This was the game where Drew Sample had a bit of a breakout. I don't know whether we're going to use him because he's had half of his receptions were in that game against them last time. You can get 20.5 yards on him for his receiving line tomorrow. We'll see what happens with that. AJ obviously had a good game last week against the Colts. 96 yards for him last week. He's 51.5 his yardage line this week, 62.5 for Tyler Boyd and 58.5 for T Higgins. Again, I think the T Higgins line is the best one that you're going to get there. Joe Burrow has a rush line of 11.5 yards. He had 19 against the Browns in the first game. I think it's safe to say he'll be running for his life against Myles Garrett again in this one. So I think that's probably a sensible one to go over with. Yeah, I'm not confident in this game at all. I think the Browns will win. I think they'll cover the spread. Yeah, who day?
Another ray of optimism from one of our contributors.
It's. I can feel the sunshine, Jamie. It's beating down on my face. Goodness me. Before we start talking about predictions, Pete Dazro just sent his preferred wine. Gravy mixed Madeira wine. It's quite smooth and dark with a rich wine flavour, ideal for beef and dark meats. Goodness me.
Did he buy that in the
sounds,
90s? That seems like a very 90s packaging.
I think he might have found that in the back of his cupboard, really, because that does sound. Well, it does look a bit old, doesn't it? Really. Okay, so Andrew, talk us through what you feel about today's game. Where's it going to be won and lost, do you think?
I want to be optimistic, but I'm very worried about Nick Chubb isn't there, but off-field aside, Kareem Hunt is a very good running back. And we didn't get close to stopping the run. We didn't get close to getting pressure on Baker. I think Austin Hooper is out, which is a good thing. It means we still only have to cover Jarvis Landry and Odell, which with William Jackson out is going to be a struggle too.
Cool.
And then on the opposite side of the field, Myles Garrett's going to probably destroy Bobby Hart again, as per expected. And
because he has been, Garrett has been lining up over the right tackle more than the left these days. So on that strong side rather than the weak side, right?
Yeah. It's what you do with your best edge. You're going to put it against your best matchup, which typically is the right tackle. That's just how it is. Well, I wonder whether we'll start seeing tackle. It's going to be harder because you're used to one side. But if we start seeing left tackles and right tackles mismatch and move in the future, just try to cover a best edge rusher. I don't think it's possible because you're used to one side of the field. But modern theories, who knows? But no, I'm not very positive on this one. So I will say 34-17 to the Browns.
Okay, we've got some predictions coming in from you guys. Living La Vida Luca, John says 26-21 to the Bengals. It's time. I like it. Duncan Newton, Browns 34, Bengals 21. We won't stop the run or OBJ. It ain't going to be pretty. Dallas is back and he says Browns 27, Bengals 24. Ken Buzzard says my heart says Bengals 31-16. Gio with 2 TDs, 1 rush, 1 reception. Burrow 280 yards, 2 TDs, 1 interception. My brain says expansion Browns who have no history prior to the 1999 draft, 27-24. Randy Bullock to doink a tying field goal at the end of regulation. Talking of doinks, did you see that quadruple
Yes, I did.
doink yesterday in that college game?
Yeah, it was. Did
you see that? You saw it, Jamie?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember. I think it was the Rice game. That happened in.
Yeah, I think it might have been. Yeah, that was quite something. Adam Kiefarber, predictions from the Queen Cities. Queen City, welcome along, Adam. 35-14 Bengals. Jamie learns to appreciate Zach. Bates, 2 interceptions. T. Higgins owns the game. Crossley, his 8-year-old son, says 28-21 Bengals. Bates, 1 interception. T. Higgins with a touchdown. Burrow has exactly 314 yards passing. Boyd adds a TD. Williams, a 20-yard touchdown return. Lunch Note had Skyline yesterday, settling for chicken nuggets and tater tots today. Thank you, Adam, and thank you, Crossley. Yes, Jamie, your predictions for today.
Well, on the blog earlier this week, I went for, it was either 27-24 or 28-24 Browns. And that's before I learned that Jackson and Mixon were going to be out today. I want to trust Joe Burrow to beat the spread. I think sort of he's got the capability to keep us in a game, but I still don't think we're going to win that, and I think it could get quite ugly on defense if we're expecting LaShawn Sims to be starting. Obviously, he's had flash plays, but his general level of play hasn't been of a level that I'd want to have starting and playing the majority of snaps in the game. The abyss is staring at me, and I'm staring into it.
And you know what happens when you're staring into the abyss, Jamie?
Yeah, I think we're going to be on the end of a bit of a hiding. And I'm going to sort of downgrade my prediction from a narrow loss to quite a hefty one. And I'm going to say 34-17.
Well, I did tip us to lose today, just because of the injuries. Really, I say I'm the one that's really bothering me is the William Jackson injury, because I like you said, Jamie, and I just don't see LaShawn Sims or Darius Phillips, being able to cover OBJ, and we're not going to get enough pressure on Baker to kind of cause the kind of mistakes he's been making all year. And they game planned beautifully in that first game. He was in trouble, Baker, during, in that early part of the season. He was playing very inconsistently. And they were just kind of just getting him to bootleg out of the way and out of the pocket and throwing on the run. He's quite comfortable doing that. And I think he'll be the same today. Chubb's a big loss for them. But as you say, Andrew, Kareem Hunt isn't bad, and he has absolutely battered us in the pass when he's playing for Kansas City. Do you remember that game? I think it might have been Marvin's final season when they beat us 45-something on Monday Night Football, and Kareem Hunt absolutely just ran through us completely. I do think there's a chance to score points against the Browns. They're stout against the run, but I don't know, man. I think there's keep it away from Denzel Ward, and there's some opportunities in the pass game. So I'm hoping that Joe in the passing game keeps us in it today. But I'm going to go for something like, 35-21, 35-28, something like that. But you just never know. You just never know, do you? It's the Battle of Ohio. I hope that they can just... It would be amazing if they could... look what happened last week. I know we lost, but they defied all expectation in that first quarter, and there is a chance. It's sport, there is a chance for them to do that today. It's just a case of, we've said it often enough, just putting everything together at the same time. So we'll see. Laurie Claridge says, great show again. Go Bengals, Houday. We are up for the chili cook-off. So I think we've got 2 people up for the chili cook-off. Laurie, we'll be in touch, okay? Any last words from you guys before we sign off?
It's going to be
good luck, everyone.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough stretch. You've got this game. You've then got Derrick Henry. You've then got the Steelers defense. But then you've got Washington. You've got New York. You've got Miami. So it's going to be a dark 3 games. But then you've got a good 3 games. So if we can survive these 3, there's a win somewhere beyond it.
I think we were talking before this when we went on air, weren't we, Jamie? I kind of said, it's likely let's be honest, it's likely that we're going to end at 1-7-1 after that Steelers game, I think.
Yeah.
But then we could well end up 4-7-1, which sounds a hell of a lot better, and that might give us a chance to kind of restore some confidence, to get a bit healthier. Who knows what's going to happen with Gino, but you'd hope he gets a little bit healthier as the season goes on. So I don't know. That kind of, obviously we can't finish. My prediction 7-9 is more likely looking sort of 6-9-1 or 5-10-1 at the moment, which again would be slight progress from last year, wouldn't it? I mean, we've got to look for the positives somewhere, really.
Yeah, and it's close finishes. You look at the Eagles tie, the Chargers game we could have won, the Colts game we should have won. We could be in a winning record right now, which seems absolutely surreal to say as a team that could, like you say, probably should go 1-7 now. But we could equally be 4-3.
Now, how much of this is talent being held back? I mean, the play through the first sort of quarter and a half last week was incredible. It was intense. It was well executed, and then all of a sudden it just turned off. And it was kind of, I always sort of bristle at Zach Taylor being compared to Marvin Lewis, because I think Marvin Lewis is the far superior coach. But there was an element of those Marvin Lewis halftime adjustments in that we got to halftime, we just decided to stop playing, and I'm just thinking, where do we go from here? There does need to be a change at some point to actually try and get the most out of what we have.
It feels a lot of kind of taking into a football reference, scoring in the first 10 minutes and then parking the bus for a 1-0 win.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So before we let everyone go off and make their final preparations for the game, we've got half an hour to go until kickoff. Carlos Dunlap, is he here this time next week?
No.
I'll say yes, but not next year.
Okay. Right, there we go. I hope you enjoyed our positive television show on the internet, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the game today. Remember, it's just sport. Be nice to one another. And we will... the podcast is back tomorrow night. Me and Nathan will be shouting a lot now, no doubt. But we'll be back with the tailgate next week, so do join us then. But until then, thank you very much for watching, and it's a goodbye from the UK.
Goodbye.
See ya.